Hey. Yo, I love this joint, man. I do. I like this shit a lot. Like the beat, anyways. Nicki's rapping, nah. I wish she killed it. I really wish she did, because I'd love it. You know what I mean? Like the way that they flipped this J shit, fire. Fire. And that's the thing, man. Like, you guys know this, and I've said this before, man. Like, I give credit where it's due, okay? A lot of you say, oh, you know, you just hate to hate. That's bullshit. I want dope shit. I don't like Nicki Minaj. I think her music is trash. I've always thought it was trash. So, you know, it's not like, I mean, I happen to be wearing a purple shirt, or sorry, a pink shirt, so now someone's gonna be like, oh, you a barb or some shit. When in fact, I've said that Nicki was trash a whole number of times. I think her flow is trash. I think what she talks about is trash. When she's rapping about these bitches is my sons and all that shit, that's kind of funny. But like, in general, there's a weird arrogance and low self-esteem thing to Nicki that's always been there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like she's just rapping about herself a lot of times when she's trying to, you know, disrespect chicks and be like, you're not on my level. It's like, it's almost some weird psychology thing. But look, listen, I'm not even trying to go too deep into that. My whole point is this. My whole point. I just like dope shit. And if you are going to make a decent song, you might be whack to me. But you get a decent beat and maybe you semi-kill it, I'll give you props. Okay? I'm not a hater, man. The people that call me trolls, those are the haters. You know what I'm saying? The people who are in the comment section, yo, you know, you a hater, you a troll. The first, you know, whenever you see a comment and the first thing they talk about is troll, they mention the word troll, that's a troll right there. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, them cats are not even talking about nothing else other than this guy's trolling, this guy's trolling. They're not adding anything to the hip-hop conversation. Those are trolls, right? Those are haters, right? Now, I'm going to kind of move off this topic real brief, but there's one part of the song that I actually liked flow-wise, but let me see here. That was alright. This is too low energy for me. No. No, blah, blah, blah. This is all blah, blah, blah shit, man. This is all homework, bitch. Mission complete. You trying to be my son, then mission complete. Never mission to be. That's it. That's like the hardest shit. That area, you know, if you're trying to be my son, then mission complete. Like the way she even said it was like, okay, that's decent. You know, that bar it's not a bar, but it's like, that's the thing with Nicki that even on this track, she does that disappointing Nicki shit. You'll notice she's changing her voices a gazillion times in a song, and most of it is low energy shit. It's that, you know, it's again, this is why when I mentioned and dissed Kendrick for it, because Kendrick does this kind of shit. You know, he takes elements of it where it's like, you know, you're changing your voices to, I guess, express these different personalities or whatever. But it's just pop. That's all it is, man. It's just some, like, annoying pop garbage, right? Because Nicki doesn't have to do all that. Do you know what I'm saying? To seem like she has personality. She's forcing it, right? She's trying to seem like she's all, you know, animated and interesting, when in fact she's just boring, right? Like, just rap. Like, you know, rap is supposed to be effortless. It's not supposed to be this forced. And the thing is, when you force it, it's funny because it comes off as even lower energy than you might intend it to, right? Like, you're like, oh, I'm turning up. But in fact, you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're forcing it. So, anyway, we're moving on. But the thing I obviously love about it was the beat, right? And it's not like it's anything innovative necessarily because, I mean, I've been listening to shit like this for a minute, you know? I always knew that the Where I'm From would sound good slowed down because, I mean, they're not the first people to do that shit. It's like there's videos online of people slowing down Where I'm From all the time, right? So it was just there for somebody to sort of use the shit, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you slow shit down, it gives it a certain like cloudy and mystical quality that's really ill actually. So yeah, I love that fucking beat, man. I love that beat, and you know, I think that Nicki got a great beat. She kind of squandered it, but again, it's not too bad. And honestly, I might say that that's probably the best song I've heard all year. Honestly, it might be like it's top 3 for sure. It's been that dismal of a year, so I'm gonna put Fractions in my top 3 of hip hop records that I've heard this year. It's better than anything on that J. Cole album, that's for damn sure. But you already knew that. You already knew that. All right, so lastly, or I should say, I want to kind of touch on something that Gene, shout out to Gene, said this, right? And he asked me, he's like, can you please do a video about your top 3 Mobb Deep songs? Or top 10, I should say. Now, homie, you're asking for a very, very hard request, something that's like really hard to pull off. So let's talk about Mobb Deep for a second. I did actually end up putting a top 10 together, but I did not include anything off the first 2 albums. And by first 2 albums, I mean The Infamous and Hell on Earth. I mean, those 2 albums are so amazing and so flawless, all things considered, that it's hard to really pick like a, you know, because I could literally do like top 10 Mobb Deep records just off the first album alone, on The Infamous, or even off Hell on Earth. They're both phenomenal albums, and I can't even really include them in the conversation because they're just that good. So I started thinking, well, outside of those 2 albums, because most people in general that have been listening to rap, we know that those are like their 2 strongest projects by far. And then after that, you know, it starts to dwindle a bit, but that's okay. I mean, it's impossible to keep up that level of quality anywhere. So the subsequent albums had some phenomenal songs, but overall weren't necessarily as phenomenal, right? So I guess let me talk about the ones that I like, right? And I've heard like, I want to say 95% of Mobb Deep's discography. You know, like there's some unreleased stuff I'm sure I haven't heard. There's, I think, Free Agents. They had a tape called Free Agents that, for the life of me, I have never gotten the chance to listen to. And I've been meaning to listen to that shit for like literally like 15 years. I always forget to do it, right? So, anyway. So there are some things with Mobb Deep that I have not heard, but overall I've heard like all their joints. You know, I'm like, when you go out, you're gonna hear Mobb Deep at a party or whatever. So I've heard Mobb Deep shit. Okay, I've owned some of Mobb Deep's albums. I'm a big fan, massive fan. Okay, I love Havoc. Like his production to me is top 5, I would say, of all time. It's there. It maybe, I mean, top 10 for sure. For me especially. Like Hav shit is just so fucking imaginative and shit, man. Like it really is like on some real personal shit. I love fucking Mobb Deep. Like I've always liked this shit. So anyway, let's do a top 10, right, of non-Infamous and Hell on Earth records, right? So the first one is Illustrious. This was on Murder Music. Murder Music had a couple of joints. So actually Murder Music occupies like 3 of my top 10. So you got Illustrious, you got Quiet Storm, and y'all need to give it up, cause we don't give up. What y'all want, it's mine, right? So I'd say those 3 are ill to me. What else? Now we're gonna go towards Getaway. I love Getaway. That's, again, one of the greatest Mobb Deep songs ever made. So that's 4. What else? Oh, this shit, Burn. Oh, y'all niggas need to have been out when this record was in the club. Oh my God. This is my shit. So Burn for sure. So that's 5. This one is an unreleased joint that I love. I fucking love this joint. Hav P. So you can listen to that, but I love this beat. I think this beat's phenomenal. So that's 6. And then America's Nightmare, Got It Twisted, for sure. And then I also really like this joint, actually. It's kind of a soundtrack joint, Never Going Back. I love this joint, man. This is one of my favorite Mobb Deep joints ever. And all the shit I've been through, facts. Now, to the 10th spot. This is where it gets hard and confusing for the 10th spot, because I could use this, Taken in Blood, unreleased. This could be, you know, in my 10th. The other one I'm considering is, now you see, it's hard. Now it's getting hard. But I could also consider the song "The Infamous," which Havoc did. Sorry, not Havoc, but Alchemist actually did. I really love this joint. Man, these guys use the word infamous so often that even on YouTube, it's like you have to dig to find the shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this joint. This would be one of my favorite Mobb Deep records as well. So now we're living, you know, this is 11, right? I love this fucking joint. Pop it now. One of them joints, Alchemist really put his foot in. That. What else is there? And then of course, this is 13, I guess. I love this beat. Although I think 50 killed this harder than Mobb Deep, right? For We Run New York, but this is up there for me too. You know what I mean? Just when you thought it was over, the mob came back and put the game in the Cobra hard. So yeah, I guess today is the Queens edition. Nicki's from Queens, Mobb's from Queens. Shout out to all my peoples from Queens. You know, like I said, man, I kind of wish I spent more time in Queens. You know, I used to always hang out in Queens when I was living in New York. So, well, not always. Like, I mean, it was far. Like, I lived in Brooklyn, so it's like getting to Queens without a car is not easy. But you know, I liked Queens. Anytime I always, you know, went out there, I always felt like, you know, just an energy that I always really liked about Queens, to be honest with you. It's funny, man. I had shout out to my boss, but I had a, you know, really good friend of mine in New York, who was my boss actually, and she's, you know, Brooklyn chick, right? Born and raised Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. She was always like, man, fuck Queens. So that Queens-Brooklyn thing is always cool. It's funny to see, you know, that rivalry. She was always like, man, I don't even like Queens. Like, them streets is whack. They can't dress, all that shit. You know what I mean? But, look, listen, I will agree with the streets. Because that shit, when you're in Queens, is confusing as fuck, okay? Like, I've been lost in Queens just trying... Like, I remember just trying to get to a fucking restaurant. I think I was in Jackson Heights, and I was, like, trying to get to, like... this one like takeout spot that I, you know, saw online that I wanted to try. I couldn't find the shit. It took me like an hour to find the shit, and it was like 5 minutes away from me. That's that Queen shit, man. I don't like that shit. Like, you know, their roads just be fucked up, right? Because I guess they had like a whole different planning and grid system, like when they designed Queens and shit like that. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, I love Queens, and shout out to Queens. And like whenever I've been in Queens, it's always been a good time. You know what I mean? And like on some real shit, you know, like people show me love in Queens. So, you know. Anyway, peace.